Hello and welcome to another edition of Mailbag. What is Mailbag? Well, Mailbag is a feature of the channel where you guys leave lots of comments on the channel and I attempt to answer those comments, or if I can't answer those comments, I throw it out to you guys who have more knowledge on some of this stuff than I do. So let's get into the first mailbag of this session. Remember, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Go over to Instagram and follow me there. Go over to Facebook, follow me there. That's where the normal notices are. And consider becoming a Patreon. Next comment or question comes from Rob Riot in response to the Roland MX-1 USB ports explained video I did in January 2019. And Rob writes, "Hi tech guy, thanks for the video." Well, you're welcome. I've got a TR8S, an MX-1, a Behringer TD3, Push 2, Auturia Micro Freak. It's a good combination of tools actually. Am I able to use these with the MX-1 in standalone situation without Ableton? And also with Ableton, could you point me at any information or advice that would help me set these up correctly with the MX-1? As I said, good set of instruments that. Now, I only have the MX-1 and the TD3. So I can't really be specific on the other instruments that you're talking about. Now, well, one comment is that you have the Push 2. And I would have thought that this would be far more suitable surface for Ableton than the MX-1. So Push is kind of aimed at the whole Ableton methodology of putting tracks together. Now, I've never got on with the MX-1 and Ableton as a surface. In fact, basically, I think it's rubbish, and I gave up. So I wouldn't be trying to use the MX-1 as a surface in any way, shape, or form with Ableton at all. At best, it is a mixer and a USB hub. In terms of reference material, many have undertaken videos on these, but in my stable, you might want to consider watching the following videos. Power and instruments from the MX-1 USB port 3 explained. Recurring Roland MX-1 questions. Configuring case study on MX-1. How to set up the sync function on your MX-1. Power MX-1 Powergonomics. Setting up your Roland MX-1 for your environment. And if I remember correctly, and I remember at the time, I will put all the links to those below this video. Next comment or question comes from Alan Black, and this is in response to the Death of the Kronos video, a video I did in December 2021. Alan writes, "Difficult to understand why you wouldn't have a Kronos in store for 2 years. Why own keyboards and not play them? By the way, your seat creaks quite a lot." I think I fixed that by tightening the bolts. I've only just come across this site and it's informative in a weird sort of way. Well, I think that's a weird sort of compliment, so thank you. However, it seems to be more of a techie information site rather than a site about making music. Hallelujah. However, I struggle to comprehend how someone who stores keyboards can talk with such knowledge and authority about the pros and cons of a musical instrument. Nevertheless, the information provided is relevant, current and knowledgeable for a certain audience. Well, I think that is a veiled compliment, isn't it? So, thank you, Alan. In short, I have to be mindful of the people I live with in terms of having equipment. So that's the reason why my Kronos was in storage for so long. So pre moving here, it was in my studio. It was played pretty much on a daily basis. The Oasis was in my flat. That was played pretty much on a daily basis. I had the Oasis for a year here, and then other synths and workstations on a kind of rolling change. So you know, it's the fact that Kronos wasn't getting played didn't actually mean I wasn't playing. It just meant I wasn't playing that keyboard. In fact, I actually played the Oasis for quite, let's say, it was here for over a year and got played on a regular basis. But to be honest, the Kronos is back here now, and I use it pretty much daily, so it gets a good workout. Now, you basically hit the nail on the head in the fact that this site is kind of more technically orientated. It has been. It was set up that way. It's because of my background, rear of house, not really front of house. But to answer the questions, I always try to understand how the keyboard works when I acquire one or have one for a period of time, apart from, of course, the classic Korg DW one, which I got absolutely slated for. Then I film my opinions on the relevant keyboard, how it operates, and express these on the channel. That's how we operate. That's how we roll. There's going to be more playing at some point, but I just need to understand how I'm going to structure those particular videos, if I'm honest. And then, in conjunction with comments that people subscribe to the channel, that's how kind of content gets generated. Now, I hope that for everybody else gives people an insight about how the channel rolls, because a lot of people say, "Oh, you're not playing anything," but the video title was about how the machine works. It's not about how it plays. And I keep saying, you know, a lot of people try to sell keyboards on sound rather than sell keyboards on function. And you should be really looking at what can the keyboard do for me, not necessarily have I got that, what does it sound like? Because the likelihood is you've probably already got the sounds. It's a different way of generating and interpreting the workflow of the keyboard and how it will help you compose and how it will help you gig and how it will help you be a studio musician or whatever it is you happen to be.